Mr. Mills and then Ms. Goldsmith. Mr. Mills.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is John Mills. My clients are all upstream water agencies and coincidentally members of Mr. Kingsbury's association. So, I wish to associate myself with his
more
comments.
happy, more unhappy, or slightly less unhappy than each other.
I'll let my statements answer that. We agree with the importance of WRP1, certainly, and we appreciate the staff work on this and council members' work on this and the efforts to improve it. Our objective here, we believe you give the staff the latitude in your motion to allow for improvements in this through this process. So we like the motion you have, and we think what we've seen from the staff so far and the council members and conversations and sidebar explanations, we're on the right path. We agree this is the key to the plan. By any standard, anyone who says that if we don't do some of these things, the Delta will continue to improve simply hasn't gone back and looked at the last 25 years. You know, only a crazy man keeps doing the same thing over and over expecting a different outcome. Since the June meetings, the explanations by staff and examples are an improvement. The WRP1 pathway to compliance. I explained this to Martha, as I said, I know where hell is. I know where heaven is. What I don't want for my members is a permanent purgatory. So you have to provide us with a pathway to salvation in the plan. So what I'd like to see
pathway
here is,
to salvation.
Yes,
Let me write
that's
that
WRP1 footnote 1, pathway to salvation. What I would like to see is that clarified, and I want to make it clear that doesn't need to be in WRP1, and I'll explain that later. The challenge on improving regional self-reliance to meet that standard is going to be met by varying methods in this state, depending upon the hydrologic region, even down to the watershed and the water system you're in. And notwithstanding the statements of the state water contractors, I think we need more flexibility in the definition of region and not less. And that's why I provided more examples in my comments that I submitted, because that's what we're seeing in our area is some folks want to do compliance individually. Others will have one wholesale agency complying for all of their customers. Others will be a coalition of agencies. And others are considering an IRWM way to comply. And I think leaving that flexibility and, in fact, enforcing it by the council's own statements is helpful, not a hindrance. And I think we should be allowed as much flexibility as possible to comply with this, and it will improve the partnershiping we can do to accomplish the goal that we're all here for. We're a firm believer that more clarity in the plan is better. Supporting narrative is good. Examples are good. The language that I provided to you already on behalf of my clients attempts to clarify the plan. This language, in whole or in part, need not be in WRP1. Martha asked me, well, if it doesn't have to be in WRP1, why did you submit it now? And I said, well, the same reason that when they asked John Dillinger, why do you rob banks? He said, that's where the money is. You're taking action on this today, and this relates to...
I like the comparison, but I search in vain for money sitting on this table.
Well, we'll keep digging on that one.
Okay.
Remember, I'm from the Mother Lode region. So.
Okay.
That being said, I think we have to also remember that the reason that narrative is important, the reason examples are important, is because oftentimes a plan is not just policies. And I'm going to step in the time machine and go back to the Baldwin v. Tehaman decision on whether counties had the ability to regulate groundwater. And the court, this went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court actually drilled down into the findings and the narrative of the Tehama County General Plan to affirm that ordinance. So I think as we look at your plan, we need to not only to take our due diligence on the policies, but we also need to do our very, very best in making sure that the narrative and the examples support that. And so, again, I think you've given the staff the flexibility in the motion. We support the direction you're going. We stand ready to work with your staff to make some of the changes suggested in my amendments. And thank you. You'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Mills. Appreciate it very much.